All right, man. So today, woke news. Singer Macy Gray. She has an idea to replace the American flag because she thinks that the American flag has basically become just another version of the Confederate flag. So she wants to design a new American flag that is more representative of all of us. Okay, according to her. So, she did this for Juneteenth, and she wrote a little opinion piece here about how she feels about the flag, and I'm gonna read it and break it down and tell you why what she's saying is really silly, and go from there. So, for Juneteenth, America needs a new flag that can honor us all. The Confederate battle flag, which was crafted as a symbol of oppression to the abolishment of slavery, is just recently tired. We don't see it much anymore. However, on the 6th, when the stormers rained on the nation's most precious hut, waving Old Glory, the memo was received. The American flag is its replacement. Okay, so essentially she's saying that the American flag is basically now the Confederate flag. Okay, she's saying that, a certain group of people have hijacked the American flag. And guys, I've talked about this before, right? And this idea that a certain group of people have hijacked the flag. Well, it's really the woke revolutionaries' fault, because the woke revolutionaries, they hate America so much that they don't want to fly the American flag. When in reality, that's not how you do it, right? That's not how you fight using symbolism. Because during the civil rights era, guys, they weren't flying Black Lives Matter flags or all these different flags, pride flags. No. They were flying the American flag. You know why? Because they were saying, this is our country, just like it's your country, and we're all Americans. The flag represents all of us. That's literally what the message was, right? So they didn't allow the flag to be hijacked. They didn't create their own flag to say that, we want our own country, we want our own thing, we hate America. No, they're like, no, we love America, we love this country, this is our country, this flag represents all of us. And that was essentially the argument for integration. Again, to be treated equally. That's what they want. The woke revolutionaries claim that that's what they want, but yet they use the opposite symbolism. They stomp on the American flag, they burn the American flag, which, hey, look, that's their right to freedom of speech, to be quite honest with you. I know a lot of people don't like that flag burning, but that is freedom of speech, to be quite honest with you. But regardless of that, I don't like it, but it is their freedom of speech. And because they have their freedom of speech, there are consequences to freedom of speech. And when you do stuff like that, then yeah, people are going to think you think a certain type of way about America. And it's going to send a certain message to people about how these woke revolutionaries feel about America. So again, it's the woke revolutionaries' fault. They want to complain about the American flag being hijacked, but it's 100% their fault. President Biden, Madam Harris, and members of Congress, the American flag has been hijacked as a code for a specific belief. God bless those believers. They can have it. Like the Confederate, it is tattered, dated, divisive, and incorrect. It no longer represents democracy and freedom. It no longer represents all of us. It's not fair to be forced to honor it. It's time for a new flag. Like I said, that's not what the thought process was during the civil rights era. Okay, that's not what it was. I personally don't think that the American flag is divisive at all. I actually think the American flag is a flag of unity. It is a flag that represents everybody. Right now, whether or not you think that flag represents you, that's up to you. Right, that's up to you. But I think that flag stands above all flags in this country. Period. Okay, that's why I love the American flag. I really do. Incorrect. Let's look to the stars. There are 50. There should be 52. DC and Puerto Rico have been lobbying for statehood for decades. Both have been denied, since statehood would allow each territory's elected officials seats in the House. Okay, so DC should definitely not be a state. Me personally, I did a video about this before. I think that DC, they should vote with Maryland when it comes to congressional elections, right? Their vote should be counted with Maryland. They already have representation when it comes to voting for president. They already have that representation. Votes should be thrown in there with Maryland, in my opinion, right? That's how I think that problem is solved, but they should not be their own state where they get, their own representatives, because they were never intended to be a state, right? That area was never intended to be that big and that populous in the first place, right? The founders did not intend for people to live in Washington, D.C., okay? That's not what the intention was. Now, again, that area grew, and, it's become what it's come today, and it does have some representation. So I think there's a solution there that can appease everybody. But, the progressives, they want everything their way, like it's Burger King or something. Now, Puerto Rico, on the other hand, Puerto Rico should probably be a state. I mean, it is a straight up colony at this point. I wouldn't mind Puerto Rico being a state. I think a lot of people assume they're just going to vote blue. I don't think that they're going to vote blue just because Hispanics vote blue to a certain extent in mainland U.S. I don't think that's true for those that are outside of mainland U.S. I think that they're more socially conservative. And I think that, there'd be a good chance that they may be like a swing state. So I definitely think Puerto Rico, there's a strong argument to be made that Puerto Rico should be a state. Assuming DC reps would be African American and Puerto Rican reps would be Hispanic, the ultimate assumption is that these elected officials would be Democrat. That alone is racist. Again, I don't make the assumption that any DC reps would be black or Puerto Rican rep. Well, Puerto Rican reps would definitely probably be Hispanic, but I don't just assume that any DC rep would be African American. And the assumption they would vote Democrat, that's because they're overwhelmingly liberal. That has nothing to do with their race. It's because they're liberal. That's a liberal area, right? Now, Puerto Ricans, again, I don't think it's fair to assume that they would vote Democrat, right? I don't think we actually know exactly how they would vote. Matter of fact, the resident commissioner for Puerto Rico, Jennifer Gonzalez, is a Republican. She's a conservative. On to the stripes. The Smithsonian documents that the white stripes represent purity and innocence. America is great. It is beautiful. Pure it ain't. It is broken and in pieces. Okay. Again, I don't know exactly, what she feels about that. Now, again, are we a divided country to a certain extent? Yeah, we are divided, right, among each other. But when it comes to America versus the world, I think we're unified in terms of that. That's the way I look at it. But I don't know, maybe some people don't. Okay. But the goal is unity, right? To unify everybody. What if the stripes were off-white? What if there were 52 stars to include DC and Puerto Rico? What if the stars were the colors of all of us, your skin tone and mine, like the melanin scale? The blue star represents vigilance and perseverance, and the red stripes stand for valor. America is all of those things. So what if those elements of the flag maintained? What if the flag looked like this? Okay, so she drew a woke flag, right? That, has these melanated stars, right? I guess that's to represent all people. Now, they don't have any pure white stars here. So those people who are, super white, you're kind of left off. But, if you got a little shade on your skin, then, you're represented on the flag here. And she got these white stripes are kind of gray. These red stripes, I'm not sure. They're like pinkish. This is ridiculous, right? I mean, let's be real. This is a joke. 52 stars. If you're not a state, you don't get a star, right? And if DC or Puerto Rico became a state, then yeah, they should get a star. But until they become states, no, they don't get a star, right? And Puerto Rico has their own flag. So yeah, this is ridiculous. This looks like something that a 6-year-old did as a project in their class or something like that. I don't know. In 1959, 17-year-old Bob Health designed the current flag for a school project when there were only 48 states. Hawaii and Alaska were up for statehood, and Bob had a hunch they'd get the nod. He crafted a new flag with 50 stars for the then future because those things had changed. 62 years later, in 2021, we have changed, and it's time for a reset, a transformation, one that represents all states and all of us. All right, so yeah, I just disagree with that. I don't understand the obsession from the woke revolutionaries when it comes to wanting to dismantle the American flag. If anything, like the civil rights era, if they were smart, they would actually stand behind the flag. Okay, they would actually show more patriotism, right? If they were actually smart, and I've made this argument so much, but hey. You know, a lot of these people, they really want to change the fabric of America. They want to change our traditions. They want to change, you know, what makes us American. Okay, yes, our history is fraught with conflict, but that's what makes us great, right? Conflict is ultimately what makes the country great. Okay, it happens, right? There's been no country on earth that has not had conflict. Ultimately, overcoming that conflict and, you know, understanding each other better as people is the ultimate goal. It happens, right? We're always going to live in a period of conflict. There will never be a period in time that we live where there's no conflict, right? But the American flag, in my opinion, is supposed to represent unity even among conflict, okay? Even if we are divided to a certain extent, we are unified under the flag. We're 50 states, okay? The stripes represent the original 13 colonies, okay? This is the founding of our country, right? And we've become a great country. We've become the greatest country on earth despite all this conflict, even though we've been in each other's throats. And I think that that's something that, again, the woke revolutionaries need to understand. And if they can't understand it, if they don't want to accept that, then, hey, go to another country that you feel like accepts you, right? That you feel like their flag is all melanated and it represents you. Go do that. Go to the other country and tell them how to run their thing, right? A country that you're not a part of, and see how that works. See how that works. So until then, I'm sick of these woke revolutionaries always complaining about our traditions, complaining about the flag, complaining about this, complaining about that. It's at the point now, it's just like, come on. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.